So, dear students, today we will discuss about the PCR, the polymerase chain reaction. So, what is this PCR? This PCR is an exponentially processing or synthesizing a particular stretch of DNA. For that, we can call it as a target DNA, and we can synthesize them within a lab or within a small sample. For that, we can use a PCR tubes. For that, we call it as an in vitro DNA synthesis. So you all are familiar with the DNA replication. While discussing the different biomolecules, they are highlighted that the DNA is a very unique biomolecule in that it can replicate and make its own copy. So it does that by a mechanism called as DNA replication. Several group of proteins, they play important role in that process. DNA polymerase is particularly the main important protein which is employed in DNA replication. So such process which takes place within a living cell, for that we call it as an in vivo condition. Similar, DNA synthesis can be carried out in vitro. So for that we'll have to supplement that tube with the components that are required for the DNA synthesis. So PCR is nothing but in vitro DNA synthesis. That is, we have to make a copy of DNA from, obviously, the one thing is very common or very much important, that is the DNA template has to be provided. Template means something which is a starting sample, a reference strand to which the complementary nucleotides are attached. So PCR is the exponentially progressing, or it is the synthesis of a target DNA under in vitro given condition. This particular instrument is called as a thermal cycler or thermocycler we can call it, and the process is regarded as a polymerase chain reaction. So it was invented by Carey Mullis, and for which he has been awarded with a Nobel Prize. Now, why we call it as a polymerase chain reaction? Because the polymerase is the principal enzyme which is employed in DNA replication. For DNA synthesis or DNA replication, the important protein or important enzyme, we all know that most of the enzymes, they are proteinaceous in nature, and DNA polymerase is one of the enzyme which is making the phosphodiester bonds. So it is important in formation of a copy of DNA during the process of DNA replication. So that polymerase is employed in the artificial synthesis as well. The only difference is in vivo some different type of polymerase is used, while in vitro we use a temperature stable polymerase. But the polymerase, that is enzyme, is common in both the cases. So the polymerase is as it is the important enzyme in the synthesis, whether it is in vitro or in vivo, the polymerase has to be employed or it is used in the reaction. Therefore we call that reaction as a polymerase chain reaction. Now why we call it as a chain reaction? Because it is a cyclic process, or we can say the end product of the first reaction is used as a substrate for the another round of replication. That is, if we start with a small entity, a small molecule of DNA, that after the first round of in vitro replication, from that starting molecule 2 raised to n, that is the double amount of DNA synthesized, then this entire amount of DNA which has been synthesized is used for the further round of replication or further round of in vitro DNA synthesis. So therefore we call it as a chain reaction. As it is suggested, it is called the chain because the product of the first reaction, it becomes the substrate for the following one and so on reactions. Now here we can have the different components. Here we can visualize the different components required for the DNA synthesis or DNA for PCR, for in vitro synthesis. So for that we must have a target DNA, or we must have a template DNA, not target, we must have a template DNA. Here in this example we will take DNA from a plant, soybean plant. So for example, sorry, am I audible? So we will be discussing about this polymerase chain reaction. Why we call the word, or why we use this word polymerase? Because polymerase is the major enzyme employed in DNA replication. And as PCR or thermal cycler, what it does is it artificially synthesizes the DNA, or we can call it as an in vitro DNA synthesis. So the major enzyme which is playing important role in the synthesis is the polymerase. Therefore the name has been given polymerase chain reaction. Now why we call it as a chain reaction? Because the end product of the first reaction is employed in subsequent cycles, and that process it continues until desired amount of DNA has been amplified. So we call it as a polymerase chain reaction. So it is a chain reaction. The end product of first reaction is employed in the second, while the second end product of the second reaction is employed for the subsequent reactions, and the process keeps on going until a desired amount of DNA has been synthesized. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So here we can visualize the different components required for the polymerase chain reaction. First is the template DNA, the starting material. The starting DNA has to be provided, only then the copy of that DNA can be synthesized. So we can consider this PCR or thermal cycler. So more than PCR, we will call that instrumentation as a thermal cycler. So for this thermal cycler, we can compare this with a photocopy machine. We all visualize on a daily basis the photocopy machine, right? The Xerox machine. What we do, we go with a couple of our papers and we want a Xerox copy of it. Similarly, if you want to have the sets of n number of copies of that, we can give the instruction to that operator. He will make that copies and he will hand over back to you. If you want a color copy, he may give us a color copy. If you want black and white colors, so he can provide us with that. So it depends upon what product we want. We'll have to provide the starting material and the end product in the copies, that is the amplified or the copy number can be increased by using that photocopy machine or Xerox machine. Similar is true for the thermal cycler. So for thermal cycler, the starting DNA, that is template DNA we call, is the utmost requirement. After that starting material has been provided, we must provide it with the DNTPs, that is deoxyribonucleotides. So we know that in case with the DNA there are 4 nucleotides and they are lacking OH group at 2' position. So therefore we call it as a deoxyribonucleotides. So this, in short, we can call it as an DNTPs, that is deoxyribonucleotide. So and it represents any type of nucleotide. It can be adenine, it can be guanine, it can be cytosine, or it can be thymine. So DNTPs, they are the other important component which are must for the DNA synthesis. Next is we must provide a primer. As the name suggests, primer is the molecule which initiates the process of DNA replication. In case with the in vivo DNA replication also, the cell it requires the DNA primer. In case with eukaryotic cell, it is the primase that carries out that task. So primer is something, it is a small stretch of RNA which initiates the process of DNA replication. So that primer has to be provided. Next is we must provide the polymerase, the Taq polymerase. So polymerase is the enzyme which is actually involved in the formation of phosphodiester bond. So it connects the nucleotides together. So there are different types of polymerases present within a living cell. Like for example in E. coli, a model organism studied in microbiology or in for the molecular studies. So Escherichia coli is considered as a model organism. So if you consider this E. coli, it has at least 5 different types of DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase first, DNA polymerase second, DNA polymerase third, DNA polymerase fourth, DNA polymerase fifth. So all of them they can carry out the formation of phosphodiester bond, but this is carried out within a living cell. So among these 5, DNA polymerase third is regarded as the major replicative enzyme. Major replicative enzyme means the one which can form the phosphodiester bond comparatively fast and without making error, or even if it is carrying out that error rate should be very negligible. So DNA polymerase third is the major replicative enzyme in Escherichia coli. But that enzyme, we know that enzymes, as we have discussed in our earlier lecture, most of the enzymes they are made up of protein. Taq polymerase is a special type of enzyme which is found in an organism which is able to survive under extreme environmental condition. So we know on the basis of the temperature we can categorize the organism into 3 different classes, at least 3 different classes. One is the psychrophiles, the one which grows below 15 degrees Celsius. Other organisms which grows best from 15 to say 30-35 degrees Celsius, they are regarded as a mesophilic organisms. And the organisms which prefer to grow beyond 40-45 degrees Celsius, they are regarded as in thermophiles. So these enzymes, as they are affected by change in the temperature, they will not function at an elevated temperature condition. In this PCR, in this polymerase chain reaction, we are going to change or we are going to alter the temperature condition. So we'll start somewhere from 90 or 95 degrees Celsius and we'll take down the temperature to say 40-45 degrees Celsius. Then we'll raise it again to 72 degrees Celsius. Again we'll increase it to 90-95 degrees Celsius. And this cyclic fluctuation or change in temperature will take place in this PCR reaction. So obviously the enzymes which are seen in or which are present in the mesophilic organisms, they may not sustain to this temperature condition and they may not function, because as we have discussed, the enzymes or these proteins, they function in their higher order of structure, that is their tertiary or quaternary structure. And this higher order structure, tertiary quaternary structure, they are stabilized by weak bonds. That can be hydrogen bond, that can be hydrophobic bond, that can be van der Waals forces of interactions or ionic forces. So these weak bonds, if they are subjected to higher temperature condition more than say 60-65 degrees Celsius, they may lose that bonding and the structure may come back to its primary structure. So therefore in this PCR reaction we can't employ the DNA polymerase which is seen in the mesophilic organism. Therefore for polymerase chain reaction we employ a Taq polymerase. Taq polymerase is, Taq is an bacteria found in extreme environmental condition. So it comes from Thermus aquaticus. As the name suggests, thermus means the organism which survives at an elevated or thermal condition. Aquaticus, it is present underwater. So this Thermus aquaticus, it is this bacteria particularly is found in hot water springs, where the temperature of that water is, it may be more than 90, 95 or around 100 degrees Celsius. So this enzyme which is present in that Thermus aquaticus organism, it can sustain that higher temperature condition. Therefore, we can employ that in the PCR, in the polymerase chain reaction. So the next component that is required for polymerase chain reaction is the Taq polymerase, followed by the buffer. So we all know that buffer is something which is making the environment favorable for a reaction to take place, and it resists the change in the temperature condition or pH of an system. So the other components which is helping or which is making environment favorable for this reaction to take place, they are provided by this water and other components like Mg++ and other components. Next is mineral oil. So mineral oil is something to protect that tube or the component of within a tube from evaporating. So if you have what you can say hot lead PCR, that is if the lead is having an hot plate on the surface, there is no need to add mineral oil, otherwise we can add mineral oil. So it is only to check the transpiration, means that component should not get evaporated. Now what is PCR? The reaction components. So as we have discussed, the first thing is the target DNA or the starting molecule. So we must provide a source of DNA first. So that target DNA, it contains the sequence which has to be amplified. So within a living cell or within in vitro condition, that template DNA has to be provided. Only then the polymerase can add the dNTPs complementary to that. So complementary means we know the Chargaff rule, that is A, it pairs with the T, and G, it pairs with the C by double and triple hydrogen bonds respectively. So the Chargaff rule says A, T, this is a complementary base pairing. That is adenine, it pairs with.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So do you know the complementary base pairing?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
A pairs with T and G pairs with C and vice versa. Next is a pair of primer is required, as we have discussed. For the initiation of the reaction, the primer is required. It is a small stretch of nucleotide, generally it is ribonucleotides, that goes and binds to the complementary site on the target DNA. After it binds over there, the polymerase it comes and attaches dNTPs, or it attaches the nucleotides to the 3' OH end of the primer, and the chain it is elongated in 5' to 3' direction. Next component is the dNTPs, as we have discussed, they are the building blocks of DNA. Next is the thermostable or temperature stable DNA polymerase, the enzyme which actually catalyzes the formation of phosphodiester bond. Another component, another cofactor which is important for the activity of enzyme, that is Mg++ ion, which is
Yes.
required in very tiny amount or little amount, but it is required for the functioning of Taq polymerase. Next is the buffer, which maintains the pH and ionic strength of the reaction, makes the reaction favorable or suitable for the activity. Here we can find, this is a small tube, a plastic tube, having a lid over it or a cover over it. So this small tube, it is like an Eppendorf tube, but it is comparatively very smaller in size. So we call it as a PCR tube. And this instrument is regarded as a thermal cycler or thermocycler. So this is the instrument in which the DNA is replicated, or in vitro it is synthesized. Now the reaction, how the PCR reaction it takes place, it is a cyclic reaction. It comprises of 3 different stages. First step is the denaturation. Denaturation means it is the breaking down of the secondary structure, or it is the breaking down of all the loose interaction or the weak interactions. So if you heat the DNA, we know the DNA, these 2 strands of DNA, they are joined together by hydrogen bonds. So here we will find that this is a double stranded DNA which reads from 5' to 3', and this is another strand of DNA which is complementary to it, which is 5' to 3'. So this is a double stranded DNA structure. Double stranded DNA structure. Each strand is made up of NTPs joined together by phosphodiester bonds. Both these strands, they are associated with one another by hydrogen bonds. So these small bonds which are joining these 2 strands together, they are the hydrogen bonds. And hydrogen bonds, they are one of the weak bonds. The bonds which require less than 4 kilocalorie per mole amount of energy for their formation or breaking down, such bonds are regarded as weak bonds. So when we employ a temperature which can be anything around 92 to 95 degrees Celsius, or in this case we can find it is a 98 degrees Celsius, these 2 strands of DNA, they will get separated from one another, and that process is regarded as a denaturation. That is, it loses its other or higher order structure that it has acquired because of weak bonds. So as the temperature is increased, these 2 strands of DNA, they get separated. Only when these 2 strands get separated, these primers, they can go and identify the complementary site within these strands. But for that, we'll have to lower down that temperature from 90 to somewhere around 40, 50 or 60 degrees Celsius. So it may be from anywhere 45 to say 60 degrees Celsius. So during this temperature, we call it as an annealing temperature. So annealing temperature, annealing means joining. So this temperature is lowered down to that extent that this small stretch of RNA, it goes and identifies the complementary site present on this template DNA. It goes and then binds over there, forming again a weak bond, hydrogen bonds. When these bonds are formed, this primer has annealed to this template strand. We can increase the temperature further to somewhere around 68 to 72 degrees Celsius. Why we have to increase the temperature? Now the polymerase, it can bind the DNTPs to the 3'OH end of this primer, and it can amplify this particular strand of DNA. That is, it can form a complementary strand and it can make a copy of it. So here we can find in this next diagram, using this blue color template DNA, this newly synthesized red color component has been synthesized. So this is in the state of extension now. So that primer is now extended. So we call that process as an extension. And if after this process is completed, the entire length of DNA has been amplified, this process or the first cycle of DNA amplification is now complete. So it comprises of 3 steps. Step 1 is the denaturation, where the 2 strands of DNA are separated. Second step is annealing, that is the short stretch of RNA They are allowed to interact with the separated strands. They find the complementary site and this pair over there. They get attached over there, forming a hydrogen bonds. Then the Taq polymerase, it comes and attaches the DNTPs to the 3' free OH end of this primer, and the process is regarded as an extension. So we call it as an extension, primer extension. So the PCR cycle, it consists of 3 steps. The first step is denaturation, second step is annealing, third is the extension. So these 3 steps, they make one cycle of PCR. So here we can find after the first cycle, this 2:2 means the starting is the 2. So 2:2, we have got the 4 copies of this DNA. Now this 4 strands of DNA, they can be used for the another round of DNA replication, for the DNA in vitro replication. So now the copy number has been increased. After 2 cycles we have got 8 copies. After 3rd cycle we have got 16 copies, and likewise around after 25 to 30 cycles we may get millions of copies. So in this particular example we can find after 30th cycle, so 2⁻31, we got 21 copies of the DNA. That DNA is this particular DNA. So what has happened is only this particular length of DNA, its copy number has been increased. So in polymerase chain reaction, the copy number has been increased. यहाँ पर हम अगर start कर रहे हैं suppose 10 copies of this DNA, we may end up with millions of copies of this DNA. So PCR, as we have discussed, it is nothing but, or we can compare this with a photocopy machine. We can give a single page and we can have n number of photocopies of it. Similarly is seen in case with the PCR. So the initial, or the what we can say, the template DNA, it can be amplified and its copy can be formed by using this PCR reaction. Is this understood? समझ में आ गया ये?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Here we can find this is a primer and this primer is extended. So these are the DNTPs which are attached, which are shown in different colors. One is green, purple, orange, blue, likewise. So these 4 nucleotides are attached. These nucleotides are DNTPs. This is the enzyme polymerase, DNA polymerase. In case with the PCR we call, or we use the Taq polymerase for this process. And here we can see here the copy number of this DNA. So if we have started with the single copy, after around say 15-16 cycle we can compare its copy. It may have ranged somewhere from 1 to say 100 or thousands, and after say around 2021 or around 22 cycles we may end up with the 2 million copies of this DNA. So PCR is an instrument used to make the, or used to amplify the copy number of a target DNA by employing an enzyme which is temperature stable, by using other components which are required for the process to take place, like the DNTPs, the Mg++ ion, the buffers, and other components which will help the reaction to take place. So even from a single drop of DNA we can extract the DNA. So from a single drop of blood we can extract the DNA. Using that DNA we can, if we have a primer for that, the complementary primer for that, it will make a copy of it, and at the end of the day, or after performing this particular experiment after 20-25 cycles, we may get millions of copies of that particular DNA. Applications of PCR. We all know this PCR, this word has been more routinely used nowadays from the COVID-19 outbreak. So we all are knowing this particular word, that is RT-PCR. Have you heard this word? हम पढ़ते हैं ना, अभी न्यूज़ में आ रहा है RT-PCR.
sir.
So RT-PCR is a special type of PCR.
Yes, sir.
It is a type of PCR which is used in the diagnosis. So there are several applications of PCR. It can be used in a cloning of a gene, then in amplification of the starting material, that is old DNA. That DNA can be collected from ancient sample or forensic samples or any evidences. Then we can amplify the clone DNA using the vectors and all, for the rapid amplification of the cDNA or the complementary DNAs, for detecting the bacterial or viral infection. This particularly we have used nowadays in the identification of this COVID virus, the coronavirus. Then we can use some examples like in AIDS identification of the bacteria. There are other applications like in the classification of an organism we can use the PCR. In genotyping we can use PCR. In molecular archaeology we can use PCR. In mutation studies we can use this PCR. We can also employ them in the sequencing in cancer research. Pathogen detection, as we have discussed, we are already using it. DNA fingerprinting, we are using it. For the drug discovery, we are using it. So there are other applications like prenatal diagnosis, and in genetic engineering we are using PCR. So I hope it is clear to you now.